Hey guys, welcome back to sarahjoy.tv. This week's video is going to look a little bit different from home decor because it is Thanksgiving week. Frankly, I have a lot that I have to start cooking, so I figured I would bring you along with me as we prep a lot of Thanksgiving foods, and maybe you'll learn something, I don't know, or maybe you'll just have fun watching. But either way, let's get started. So let's address the very first thing, and that's the turkey. I have not made a turkey before. And so I'm not really nervous about it because I make whole chickens all the time. I feel like this is just bigger. So I feel pretty good about it, but I'm gonna make a brine, which I don't normally do. Normally my approach is to just put everything into a slow cooker and then let it do its magic. So I kind of throw all of the ingredients in there and then kind of just let it stew. But I realized with the turkey you have to approach it a little bit differently and do it with a brine and keep basting it throughout the process. So having said that, I'm going to try to make a brine today because it doesn't need to be cooked yet today, but I'm going to make a brine and then set it in the brine so that it gets the chance to like soak it all up, and then we'll be cooking it later on. I do have this tip that I have heard, I guess this weekend, from somebody, and that is to cook the turkey inside of a paper bag like filled with butter. And I was kind of digging it. They were saying that it makes the turkey turn out like super moist where like the legs just fall off. And that's how I like to cook my chickens. And so since I don't have a slow cooker that's like big enough to do the same situation with a turkey, which I don't think anybody should have a slow cooker that's that big, but I figured I will probably give that method a try. If you've tried that before, let me know. I will give you a progress update on how it turns out, but that is the current plan so far. So I've got a stock pot up here filled with water, and I'm about to start throwing in some seasonings to try to make a brine. I'm just gonna let it boil for a bit, and then I think let it cool off and then stick the turkey in it ahead of time. So that is the plan so far. So I'm gonna get started on the brine. Turkey brine is boiling right now. You can kind of hear it in the background. And the next thing that I'm going to get started on is stuffing. I am going to be making it a little bit differently this time because I'm using Ezekiel bread, or at least our version of it. Let me show you. So I just got this one from HEB. You do keep it in the freezer. It's sprouted wheat bread. Basically what I think I'm going to do is probably take nearly the whole loaf, and just start breaking it apart and cutting it up, and then I'm going to pop it into the oven to kind of toast a little bit, and then I'm going to take it out and start working on all the other stuff that goes in the stuffing. And then I foresee a combination of sorts. I think I'm going to throw in cranberries, because I really like cranberry in our stuffing, and then celery and onion, obviously, and carrot. So I'm going to start dicing. So I finished chopping all of the Ezekiel bread. So now I have it on these two trays. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven. I have the oven on 350, and I'll probably leave it in there for the next 15 minutes or so, because not only does it need to get toasty, it also needs to thaw out. So we're going to start on that. Next, I'm going to start chopping some celery. I'm going to wash and chop that, do some onion, and do some carrot probably, and a bunch of cranberries. And then I will start sauteing it over the stove. First things first though, I want to show you the pan that I'm going to be using. I love 360 cookware. They're the absolute best. So this is stainless steel cookware, and I thought previously that I didn't like stainless steel because when I cooked on it, it was just super difficult to cook with. Like I remember the first time trying a stainless steel pan, trying to make scrambled eggs, and they just fused with the pan. and you can never get it off, and even just trying to saute stuff, it just did not work for me until I tried 360 cookware, and they're incredible. The great thing about these pans is they're considered clean. They're not gonna let anything leach into your food. So they do have a core on the inside that allows for the heat conduction, but the topping of the surgical stainless steel is thicker than most that you would find in the store. So there's not a chance of it leaching. Like if you were scrubbing it too hard and scratched it, it's still not gonna be a scratch deep enough to where it would cause any leaching. And also, all of their stuff is guaranteed for life, so this is a one and done pan forever. So I love to cook with it. I cook with it absolutely every day. This size is the 11.5-inch frying pan, and you can see it's like pretty deep. So this is pretty good for like everyday stuff. It's actually on the bigger side, but I can make dinners too. So yes, I make my everyday eggs in it, but then I also wash it out and make like a whole dinner in it too. So they are amazing. I do have a discount code for 20% off of anything in their store. Again, they're amazing. They're made in the USA. Comes with a lifetime guarantee on any of their stuff if you ever need to replace it. So they're awesome. Definitely check them out. All right, I pulled the bread out of the oven. You can hear a nice crispy sound to it. So there's the bread. I'm gonna let it sit here, and then over here we are sauteing. These are just getting tender right now. I am loosely following a recipe from cleanfoodcrush.com. So this is looking nice and soft, and I have all of my breadcrumbs right here in the bowl. So I'm gonna go ahead and transfer this to here, then add some of the bouillon, kind of make my own chicken stock, and then slowly mix it in to here. All right, and here it is all in the casserole dish, ready to go. I did sample it, it is delicious. And so I will put the lid on it and wait for it to bake. By the way, this is how the pan turned out when I emptied, literally just poured everything into the stuffing mix. So, way to go, stainless steel. All right, so now I am moving on to making marshmallows. And basically I am using a recipe from Anika Nicole's cookbook, but they're basically, to summarize, not truly marshmallows. They're a little bit more like gummies. But you add in the sugar, and then they kind of more or less behave like marshmallows in the end when they're melting. So they're pretty great. So I'm going to bloom my grass-fed beef gelatin and go from there. Okay, I'm back. So the gelatin has bloomed, and I'm gonna go ahead and start the mixer. Slowly, let it go a little bit. And then this is the sugary mixture that I'm gonna slowly pour in and incorporate until this all becomes fluffy marshmallow goodness. So now we test and see if it's fluffy enough. I think it is. And yeah, it's mostly staying on. I think that about does it. Yep. So while the marshmallows were whisking, I went ahead and blended up a double batch of banana bread, which is not my recipe. It's by Fallon's Table. Anyway, it's really good. This is a double batch of it. But let me show you my secret to making it stand out. Typically, banana bread, you throw in some chocolate chips, right? Or some cacao or something like that. I found these at Trader Joe's. I think they're seasonal, so run and grab them right now. These are sea salt caramel baking chips, and they are incredible, and it will 3x your banana bread. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour in the batter into my baking dishes. Okay, and now we're taking the baking caramels and sprinkling them in, and then I just kind of like dunk them so that they bake into it. All right, so here we have them. I'm gonna go ahead and get them going in the oven so that they're ready to go. All right, friends, that's all I have for you this week. I hope you had fun jumping into the kitchen with me and making some Thanksgiving goods. I hope you have a super great Thanksgiving. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure to hit that button and like it, share with a friend, and I will see you next Tuesday, and I'll let you know how baking a turkey in a paper bag went. See you later.
What a wonderful